I've been wrong many times, but every time I was wrong, I was so sure that I was right. So I have a very proud
So you
heart.
could be wrong now. That's always the
I
thing.
hope not. I
I
mean,
hope you're not either.
I think this is the end of the road. I don't think.
Do you know that I there was a time I went to the biggest mosque in the world?
Where is
It's
it?
in Abu Dhabi.
Oh,
I went and spoke. Yeah, right. I went and spoke there. And it was this big Christian conference, and the people who invited me in said, just make sure you do not speak against the prophet, you know?
Right.
And I said, well, he's not a prophet, so, but sure, I get what you mean. It bugs me. Do you find that Christians seem to want to kind of call him the prophet or treat Muhammad like he's a prophet? Whereas when you read well, he's clearly not a prophet, but we'll get to that.
No, yeah.
As I was preaching, I can hear the call for prayer bellowing at the mosque next door. Mm-hmm. And of course, it's Abu Dhabi, so it's a lot more liberal than other Islamic countries, and so they were very, open to it. But there was a group from Saudi Arabia who came to the talk. There was thousands there, and I said I would love to meet with them. And so they found a room. There was about 3 guys, and I came in and sat down, and I just wanted to learn what it was like to be a Catholic Christian in Saudi Arabia. And I said, can I record this? And they're like, no.
Of course
I'm like, oh, right, yeah. What about if I just audio record? No. Okay, I'm sorry. I wanted to show Americans what it was like. So I got the priest, the driver, and the youth minister. The priest was from the Philippines. I said, well, how did you get to Saudi Arabia, as a priest? He said, well, I came as a car mechanic. I said, oh, wow, you're a car mechanic too. He went, no. Oh, okay, you lied about that. Sweet. So here's what they say. So the driver, he'll drive around at night, picking up the Catholics,
Right.
bring them to the priest's house where they celebrate Holy Mass in private. While they're celebrating Holy Mass, there are several people around the perimeter with cell phones to call if the police are coming. If the police do come, they always have a cake in the fridge. And so they have a story about whose birthday it is that day.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. It's like you don't even know what you have here. When I first moved here, there's a church. I was still a Protestant. Not first moved. When I visited here, it was 2004. I'm like, look, there's a church around every corner. I felt like, you guys, do you even know you're so blessed? And you go to this church, they're all empty. Mm-hmm. Wow, you have a church building, and if it's empty, we didn't have any understanding of what became of the West, basically, that Christianity is, all but gone. But yeah, that's how it is. Turkey, as I think it's probably the most liberal of Muslim countries, I would say.
Okay.
Predominantly Muslim countries. But in every church service, mass, there is a plainclothes cop. He goes there and he reads his newspaper. We give him tea because we know him. Yeah,
funny.
I tell people.
And what's he there for? To make it clear to those listening.
Oh,
the
yeah,
plainclothes
it's
cop.
Because we are always taught that Christians are here to infiltrate the state. We are all CIA agents. And I tell people, as if CIA is that competent to kind of have all Christians on,
Right.
It's there's this fear of Christianity that it's not just religion. It's they're trying to overtake the world, and and that's one of the ways they manipulate history. Growing up, I was always told that Muhammad never waged a war of aggression. And then you read the Quran and his life, I'm like, yeah, he did many of them, but you're always taught that it's always the Christians, the Crusaders, they're coming to invade your lands, whereas you're just bringing him to the true religion.
What's your opinion on the Crusades now? Do you have a strong opinion?
You know what? I do and I don't. I mean, don't start with this crusade conversation because it's such a
never.
Ross,
of course not. I'm not saying as a means of evangelizing Muslims. I'm just asking you personally, when someone talks about how bad the Crusades are, what do you tend to say?
I kind of try to explain them that the thing is, okay, growing up, we were just taught a different kind of history. And once I became Catholic, my entire mind had to shift. I was talking about the Battle of Lepanto to somebody. We were told that it was
Can you explain that briefly to our listeners?
Yeah, so it's so we are the descendants of the Ottoman Empire, right? So everything that the Catholic Church sees as a victory is an utter defeat for us. So growing up, you're kind of conditioned to that every victory of the Christian is a defeat for the Ottomans and the true religion that is Islam. And so once I became Catholic and started to read history from a different perspective, then I see that, yeah, we weren't so innocent at the end of the day, because like this clean, nice, tidy version, like we were so peaceful. Christians lived peacefully under in the Ottoman Empire. And then you read the history, then you're like, where are they now if they lived so peacefully? Like the modern Turkey, it was predominantly Christian at some point. Like they're all gone now. So it's like the same with like the Battle of Lepanto with the Crusades. You read it, it's like, okay, the Crusades started after like there was so like after I think over a decade of war and pillaging and murder in the Holy Land. So it's not like, here come the Muslims, we better go there and just stop them. It was just like, it was a reaction. And you know what? There's a lot of bad things happen during Crusades because sinful men are sinful, whether they're Catholic or, you know, or not. Yes. But if you actually read it, like Stephen Weidenkampf, is that his last name?
Oh, I'm not sure.
I think
that sounds right, but I don't know who that is.
He's like, he has the so very politically correct title of Glory of the Crusades.
Yeah.
And it's a great book because it gives you the perspective, like, you know, you're looking at that time from the perspective of a 21st century man. Like you can't judge your understanding of today. So yeah, no, I think Crusades were justified.
Yeah.
Hey, if you enjoyed that clip, you will absolutely love the full interview, so click right there to enjoy the whole thing. Also, a big thanks to these groups who made that interview possible. Learn more in the show notes below about these guys. They're absolutely incredible and honored to have them as sponsors. Oh, and also, if you haven't subscribed yet, click subscribe and then that bell button. That way YouTube will be forced to let you know when we put out more content.